Sorry. I just now realized that my mic has been off this entire time. I'm so sorry. I was wondering what happened. Yeah. Um, so now I'm going to do the explaining again because I spent like 8 minutes just speaking and none of it is on the stream now. So that's a good start, but you know, we have like 2 more hours, so let's just make the most of that. So, welcome to the 1 year anniversary stream of the Across the Dark Plane fan animation project. I have been working on this project for 1 year now, as the name of the stream kind of implies. And this is the longest time I've kept up motivation for a project like this, which I'm very happy about. Oh, yeah. Now the mic works, so I'm going to turn the sound off. So, yes, today is the exact day that 1 year has passed. And the scene we'll be working on today is from the first scene of the storyboard, which you can probably see from the art. My knowledge of drawing hats and people and skeletons has very much improved over this year, which I'm very happy to see. But I'm going to need to do something to those hats because they just do not look very, or like, no offense to these hats, but I'm going to need them to look more like the hats in the rest of the project, which are like yeah, that's better. So the hats in the rest of the project look like this, like more like cowboy hats, and the head place is like, I don't know what this part of the hat is called, but it is much bigger than in these. Like the forehead goes like about here, and the hat just kind of sits like that. So I'm going to have to fix that, and just I want to change this composition a bit because there's something about it that just looks weird, I think. So yeah. But the first thing is to figure out why this looks weird to me, because I can't quite tell, because like there's not much wrong with it. No, wait, the spacing here is weird, so I'm going to have to change that. Or would it be better if Skulduggery was like about here? And that way that way Saracen wouldn't have to look like you know how there's pictures of like pets taken from afar, and the pets are just, especially with like dogs and guinea pigs, if you like take a photo of them from a small distance away and they're kind of just looking back at you, his current expression looks a bit like that. So and we're going to try to avoid that. So we'll have I've decided now that Skulduggery is going to be here at the front, and Saracen is going to be looking kinda up and forward to him, like at him like this. Then I don't know what I'll do with the... I don't know if I'll... Maybe I'll just have them like... Okay, so the selection is... Yeah, now it's cooperating. So we'll have them kinda not in the middle of the screen, but kind of like this. And then I'll have to figure out where I'm going to... When Skulduggery can't be that close to the border, because that's... I've taken like a short film class at school, so... And the one of the things I learned is that you don't try to put... or like, you should try to not put anything important here on it, unless it's like a stylistic choice, and Skulduggery's hat is very important, and that's why it's not going there. So the start is going to be a bit boring. I'll just figure out the composition, because when I was making this first storyboard, or like the first scene of the storyboard, I wasn't thinking much about composition, like, or anatomy for that matter. So that's something I'm going to have a hard time with later. I'm going to have to redo a bunch of stuff to get it right, but I'm not going to... Like, I'm going to do it while I'm just doing these rough animations. I'll fix the composition stuff. And the fight scene is very... Because these first two scenes, the first two scenes are fight scenes, or like they're the same fight scene, but split into two. Technically, this animation only takes place in 3 locations, but I split the first scene, which is the church fight, into 2. I don't know why, because these scenes are very short. Like this first storyboard scene has like 56 frames, whereas the 4th scene has like closer to 200 frames, I'm pretty sure. And the second half of this scene, which takes place inside the church and then back outside the church, is even shorter. It's like 20 frames long or something. And I don't know why I didn't just put them in one scene, but you know, stuff happens. Or like, now I know better than I've learned a lot during this year, and I'll implement that into this animation and the rest of my work. Actually, no, there's something still up with the composition. Oh yeah, it might be that the characters are too close to the camera. Yeah, that's it. I'll make them smaller. And have them more spaced out. So that they aren't like, neither of them are like dead in the center of the frame. No wait, Skulduggery is dead, but not in the center of the frame. Haha, so funny. Wait, no, I've just realized that I forgot to search up or come up with a bunch of cowboy puns. So I'll have to just improv all the cowboy puns. Right. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm so sorry. I was wondering why I couldn't see the chat. And the default chat setting was weird. I'm so sorry. I couldn't see them. No. He he does look like the side-eyed shark. The side-eyed shark is like the picture of that shark. They're called big-eyed treasure sharks, and they look adorable. Like their eyes are huge. Like they literally look like this with the sparkly eyes. Like seriously, they're such cute sharks. Yeah, I was wondering why the chat was so silent. I was like, why? Why is this happening? What's going on? I'm so sorry. Like, the sharks look like this. Anyways, no more big-eyed treasure sharks. For now. Uh, we'll just... Okay, I'll just start with Skulduggery and Saracen, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with Anton and Dexter. Because they're just... In the first frame, they're like... near the front, which is odd because they're not, they don't do anything in the scene, but the fact that they're in the front and quite prominent there implies that they have some sort of significance, significant, that they're important, that they have some sort of importance, which they don't. They just, during this entire shot, they don't do anything, they just stare on, looking not very menacing. Like in the first, like, Dexter also looks like those big-eyed treasure sharks here because, like, he looks like an anime character here. Because, like, the eyes are much, for some reason, much larger on him than any of the other characters in this shot specifically. It doesn't carry on to the rest of the shots. Yes, the lashes keep water out of the shark's eyes. It has been decided. Now let's see how well I can freestyle a skull. Usually, like, I've been drawing Skulduggery for over a year, or like fan art and stuff. But I am still not very confident in my abilities to draw a skull without reference, so I might just have to hop on over on Google on my phone or something and search up skeleton pictures or something for reference. I think I've got like the basic parts of a skull. What's a chull? I don't know. A skull down quite well, but you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. So now we're just... No, I don't like how this looks at all. So I'll just... So anyways, I should probably talk about something insightful and cool. Um... Hmm. Well, I realized that despite having cowboy hats and cowboy boots, these characters really, or like, across the dark plane, at least the fan animation, they, the dead men really aren't cowboys, because being a cowboy requires having cattle, and they don't have cattle. They don't do any cowboy stuff. They're kind of more like a magical FBI unit who are Irish. Yeah, they're all like all of the like central characters in the story are Irish, but they're like in South Dakota. But all of the central characters have traveled there from Ireland, except Noche, who is just, I don't know, he's from the area. Yes, you are very insightful and cool. Um, yeah, they're like, yeah, they're like a magic FBI unit who are wearing clothes similar to the local people in the area to blend in, and also because if you don't wear a cowboy hat in the desert or like in the sweltering sun, you're going to have a very bad time. And it is better to have like a cowboy hat and bandana and stuff so you don't get dust in your lungs and um, sun sunstroke and heat stroke and what else, sunburn. Yeah, you are, buddy. We're all cool here. This is downtown Coolsville. My English is not working today. I yeah, I think I I've I think it's pretty obvious, or like I think most of my social media specify that I'm Finnish, so English is not my first language, and also I've started having symptoms of my brainstem being really weird. So sometimes my words just kind of blend together weirdly. I didn't have that before, and I don't really have that when I speak Finnish. But I've started having it when I speak English. Like, when I speak Finnish, it's very unnoticeable, because the words are very like, kind of like, they're very sharp. So, but in English there's lots of kind of soft words and stuff, or like vocals, that stuff. So it's easier for them to blend together. So yeah, sometimes speaking is hard, but you know, that's how life is sometimes. And my accent is also all over the place, but you know, that's not related to my brainstem being weird that's related to my accent just being weird. It probably doesn't have any um, neurosurgical background, probably. Oh yes, good old gay or European question. Um, I am happy to say that both. I'm a, what they say, double trouble. I'm doing finger guns, but you can't see it. Yeah. I'd have Skulduggery be a little taller because Saracen's supposed to be pretty short. Like, he's definitely still taller than me, but not by much. And Skulduggery is supposed to be like super tall, like almost like a lot of Skulduggery Pleasant characters are just really tall, and I'm like, um, where did they get that, and where do I like? If I become like a sorcerer, do I also get extra height? Because I'd like to be like, um, well, I don't know, maybe like over 170 centimeters could be pretty cool. I don't know. I mean, I'm not unhappy with my current height, but like for a day, I'd like to see what it's like to be like as tall as my dad or something. That would be cool. I could just look down upon everything. My dad's 6'2". I'm like 5'5" or something. I don't know how the foot and inches stuff works. I'm European. Hello, welcome to the stream. I am doing well, and it's nice and warm outside. It has been really sunny for a few days, but I mean, you probably know that. Um, yeah, so life's good, and yeah, I'm looking forward to going on holiday this year. We haven't traveled abroad in like, oh my god, it's been last time was when I was going to the 8th grade, so that was here. 1, 2, 3. We haven't. My family hasn't been abroad in 3 years, or like now it's 4 years ago was the last time, and now we're going again. Which it's a not like a huge thing, but I've missed seeing my extended family because most of my family lives abroad, so I'm happy to meet them again for the first. Like, some of them I haven't met in much longer than 3 years. It's going to be fun to see them again. I want to see how much they've changed, and I want and I'm really looking forward to uh, just being able to talk with them more, because when I was younger we didn't have a shared language. Well, like, we did English, but I wasn't very good at it yet. But now now I'm better at English and I even know a little bit of Danish, so it'll be easier this time. And no, I won't eat fläskesvär. It is the mere thought of it sounds so... Ugh. No, I couldn't eat that. And the way... And seeing it, like, going to Denmark and seeing it, like, hanging in those huge bags at the market, or, like, markets, has just... It just... No. I'm sorry to all the fläskesvär enjoyers. It just does not sound like something I would enjoy eating. I'm perfectly happy with potato chips. Thanks. And, yeah. I will, however, enjoy, like, Danish pastries and ice cream and stuff, because that is delicious. Yeah, I'm going to go on Google and get a picture of a human skull. Sorry, this preparation stage is taking so long. I had forgotten how much I have, like, how much my preferences for, like, composition have changed over this year. So now I have to redo a few things. Alright, now we have a reference picture of a skull, and wow, I was getting it very wrong from memory. It is one of those things that is just... You need to have, or like I still need to have, a reference picture for many of the angles. Like a simple front view is fine. That I can do without a reference. But the side view definitely needs one. Well, when it comes to chips, I'm very basic. Like, I just like basic salt chips most. Like, there's this new ranch flavored, or like these new ranch flavored chips, and my sister loves them, and they just made me feel so nauseous that I couldn't eat more than like maybe 5 of them. I was at a party and they were there, and I tried them, and they just weren't for me, but you know. And usually, like, the only ones I like are the basic salt ones. I don't think I've ever, or like, I cannot remember a specific time in my life I've had paprika chips. I did once when I was in Denmark. I did try what was it again? Salt and vinegar chips. They were also not my thing, but apparently they're like really popular in Denmark, which is weird because in Finland nobody eats them, or like some people eat them, but they're not like... If you see them at the store, you'll be lucky, because most... or unlucky if you don't like them. They just aren't a basic thing that every store has. I have never heard of that brand, sadly. I don't think we have that here. We have Taffel and Estrella. And what else? What are some other... Oh, there's also Cardano, but those are very like... Cardano means manner, so they're very rustic, hipster chips. Or not hipster, but like they're made like very traditionally. and they're very expensive, or like compared to some other cheap brands, they're quite expensive, so I don't have them often. Right, so the skull is starting to come along. I promise when we move to Saracen, it's not going to take this long. He's very easy to draw. Like, I made his design very simple. I probably should have simplified the Skulduggery skull. It would have saved me a lot of effort and stuff. But you know, a realistic human or semi-realistic human skull is probably a pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. So that's what we're going with. And then I specified in his reference that he has 14 teeth in each row. I don't know how many, or like I can't remember how many teeth a real regular human would have in each row. Probably a bit more than 14, but you know, he's a living skeleton. He can have unrealistic, weird, too few teeth. Oh hell yeah, crocheting is very cool. I had a crocheting phase at one point, which kind of fell apart because for some reason all my crocheting stuff came out looking really weird. Except that one hat I made once, which came out looking pretty cool. Like all the scarves and stuff would just, they'd get more and more narrow as they went down, even though no matter how hard I tried, that just always happened and I never figured out why. Because I tried to keep them like the width consistent. Like I always counted how many of those little thingies I had in each row and stuff, yet they still always just became triangles. I even have this book on my shelf with crocheting directions, and one of them is about, you know, those little square thingies that you can crochet. Well, it has directions on how you can cover a bicycle with them, like make a bicycle sock with those squares. Yeah, I have not tried it because I like my current bike very much. It has owls on it, which is pretty cool, I think. So I do not have any intention of changing it. Wow, I just realized how weird the nose in the old um, sketch looked like Skulduggery's nose. Like, why does it? It's just a regular nose, except I cut the tip off. Yeah, okay, so. Um, that's a pun, right? I, I don't know. How did the cowboy know his cattle were following him without even looking? Okay, that's very funny. He heard them. Oh my god. That is a very high quality cowboy pun. Okay, Skulduggery is done. Um, okay, I'll bite. What did the cowboy say to the artist? Right? Like, that's the thing they say when they're doing a duel, right? Like with the guns. Yeah, very high quality cowboy pun once again. Also, you know what I'm wondering about in the Skuldugger, or like in Across a Dark Plane? You know how the dead men, they're chasing down Nefarian Serpine, and that's why they're in America, or like the USA. So that makes sense. But Solomon Reith is also Irish, and he's not chasing down Nefarian Serpine. He probably doesn't give a flying goose about what happens to Nefarian Serpine. So, what? And at this point, he doesn't know Skulduggery. So, why is he in the USA with the American necromancers? Like, is he just there? Did he just hear that there's an opportunity to, um, you know, be smug? And he just went, oh yeah, that's where I'm going. Or like, or did he hear, oh, there's some guy who was killed and his whole family was murdered in front of him, who's now seeking revenge on said murderer, who is also a war criminal. Oh, I want to go there and see how he's going to just miss the chance, and I'm going to be so annoying about it. And it's going to be so funny. Like, what was. What was. Why is Solomon. I mean, Solomon does sound like the type of person who would do exactly that. Like, he would hear about a chance to be annoying and go. Or, like, he would hear about a chance to cause problems on purpose and go, oh hell yeah, I'm in. You know, that sounds like something he'd do. And during, like, when I was reading the main series books, I was like, I wonder why Skulduggery is so mean to this Solomon guy. That seems kinda unfair. But now as I'm reading the book, I'm like, oh yeah, he was just really annoying on purpose, so it kinda. And Skulduggery did warn him that if he never saw him again, or like that he would not forget about it. So. And the fact that he just went, oh, this guy who absolute, or like the fact that Solomon, he heard that, oh yeah, this guy that absolutely hates my guts has been transported to another dimension, and now his apprentice is without a mentor, and he's probably coming back at some point. Well, I'm just going to be a mentor figure for now and do some other and just like it's like he's purposefully trying to make the choices that will like make people hate him, or like make Skulduggery specifically hate him even more. Which, you know, if if that's what you want to do, then sure, I guess. Don't get me wrong. I think like Solomon Reith is he's a funny guy. I love like drawing him and animating him because I can just draw the most smug looks ever. Like he just in every scene I've drawn him, or like every shot, he just looks like he just looks like the knife cat. You know the picture with the cat that has a knife pointed at it, and it just looks like this. He looks like that cat, like constantly. Except with like stubble. Yes, Skulduggery needs to be humbled every now and then, but I think there's like better ways to do it than, you know, referring to his dead wife and child. You know, you can just go, haha, your shoes look weird. Or like, hey, brown shoes with white socks, that's so last year, oh my god. The knife cat is his personality, you're right. And also, I'm saying this for the people, like, if somebody's like watching this after the stream has ended and the finished stream is up on my YouTube channel, then remember to pull up the live chat or like the chat replay, because I'm responding to the chat at the moment. So like I'm not just talking to thin air, or like technically I am, but you know. I mean, like in this animation, Skulduggery is literally dressed up like a cowboy. There's lots of things to insult there. I mean, I don't agree with it because I think bandanas and cowboy hats look cool. Cowboy boots, on the other hand, only look nice from a side angle. And yes, that is something I've learned the hard way while making this animation. Like seriously, I did not realize how weird cowboy boots look from literally every other angle. Like, I sure hope you're not a figment of my imagination. That would make me very sad. Oh right, I forgot. I haven't. I was planning to make some sort of Instagram story post or a Tumblr post about it, But I forgot with the skull emoji at the end, fitting for Skulduggery Pleasant. Um, but the thing is that Anton Schroeder's design has received another update. Or like, no, it's not another because his design has not been updated before. So, and it's not like a major thing. It's just that now after the after he has used his chest, his ponytail just kind of starts to fall apart. He's got a ponytail before that because he's, I don't know, he's just probably like just kind of, or like, you know how when you have a ponytail and then after a long day it's kind of started falling apart, probably that's happening. And then afterwards, like after the time skip to the next morning, his hair is not up in a ponytail anymore. Um, oh, yeah, it is 8 o'clock. Thanks for stopping by and, you know, happy studying. So, yeah, the reason, for why Anton's hair changes is because, you know, in the story, or like the short story itself, Across a Dark Plane, it is said that, using the chest is just a horrible, like, it's just very painful and stuff. But and I can of course show that it is painful in the animation, and I do intend to. But I also want to make it clear how severe, how like bad the gist is for his health, like Anton's health, and that's why I'll, like, in the story itself it is not specified if Anton's still feeling the effects of it the next day, but in the animation I'm going to pretend that he is, because it's, you know, I'm kind of basing it on my own experiences with chronic pain and stuff, and also that just kind of hammers home the fact that this is really bad for him, which I think is important to show, because like otherwise it's just people who aren't maybe that familiar with the source material will just go, why didn't he just use the gist again? You know, that would have solved all their problems. So I have to show the reason why he can't use it again and again and again. So yeah, he's also going to look generally more disheveled after the gist fight. Like he's going to have, like, you know, here in the first shot, oh wait, Skulduggery is right in front of his eyes. Yeah, so in the first shot his eyes don't have any eye bags or anything. They just kind of look like this. Oh yeah, no, that looks weird. So they look like this, just regular old eyes. But afterwards, after the gist fight, there's a line here under his eyes to kind of serve as eye bags to show that he is tired. I'm going to fix this. I'm sorry that this stream has turned into like literally just composition and trying to make it more appealing. I probably should have chosen a scene from further on in the storyboard, because the the more recent the storyboard, the better the compositioning is. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the angle here and what's up with that and how to make it look nice. Now, what else do I have that I could talk about? Well, you know, he's not really a villain, he's kind of an antagonist, but, you know, since he does try to, kill the dead man, and, I'm talking about Noche. But he's not he's just kinda, I've grown very attached to this one-off character that has one appearance in the entire book series, which is Across the Dark Plane. Like, I have headcanons about him and everything. Which is funny because I have never met another Noche fan in the fandom, and I wouldn't have been a Noche fan unless I had started working on this. And much like Solomon, he also looks very smug, and I'm going to pretend like he's just my headcanon is that he's pretty young and he's annoying. We know that. So, and we kind of know that the necromancers don't really care about Nefarian Serapine that much. So they were like, we're just going to send this one annoying, just quite fresh adult to escort this dude. And they sent this guy, Noche. And yeah, he may be annoying, but he's my Blorbo. Another one of my Blorbos. And, you know, I very much believe that he survived the story because, the dead men, they wouldn't, I don't think they would. I mean, Anton and Skulduggery both kind of threaten him, but he does tell them where to go, so they probably just let him go and just went, hey, maybe, or they probably didn't say much because they were in a hurry. And I hope that Noche found a healthier work environment somewhere where he doesn't get sent to face up against an entire specialized military unit on his own. You know, maybe that was a wake up call to him that, oh wait, this environment I'm in is not that great, so I'm going to find another one. You know. And I think it's a nice thought to think, you know, what if he met some of the dead men later, in much later, 100 years later, on better terms. You know, that could be cool when he's doing better and in a healthier environment and stuff. Because I just want my favorite characters to be happy. And I'm willing to make alternate universes to make sure that my favorite characters do get to be happy. I mean, it's not canon because it's an alternate universe, but you know, I still get to draw fan art of my favorite characters being happy and saying, oh, it's an IU where everything turned out fine. You know, so that's all that matters to me. Also, fun fact, Saracen's voice actor will be my dad, like my in real life dad. That is not a joke. Because like when I was starting to cast the voice actors for a really long time, there weren't that many applications, and Saracen especially didn't get very many applications. Like pretty much like all of the applications that I got, I I like all of the applicants that applied for a role got a role, and all of them are great. And even before I started working on this, I thought, hey, if maybe my dad could be a good fit for Saracen. And then it turned out that Saracen, at least at the start, not like in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the casting call being up, Saracen did not get very many, like, he didn't really get that many applications. So I just, thought, hey, I'm just going to ask my dad if he wants to play Saracen because I think he would fit the role, and he said yes. And so that's how my dad became one of the voice actors of Across the Dark Plane. And my dad is a Skulduggery Pleasant fan. He's read more of the books than I have because he's read Phase 2 and I have not. I've just read Phase 1 and all of the like extra books that go along with it, like Armageddon Out Here and Maleficent 7. It's Maleficent 7, right? And not Maleficent 9. Yes, it's Maleficent 7. Yeah, I've read that one too. But, you know, no Phase 2 for me yet, at least. Alright, this is the guys, or like the main guys here. Um, I still think Saracen is facing too much toward the camera. Like, his face can be kind of towards the camera, but I want him to be kind of turned in the same direction as Skulduggery. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Right, what else do I have to talk about? Or like, what other things could I talk about? Let me think. Oh yeah, for the fight scenes, the old composition is not something I like very much, so I'm going to, or like just the overall fight scenes. Back then I thought, well, I'm just going to make it very straightforward, like I'm just going to show everything like very clearly, like you can clearly see what is happening at every single second, and like all of the shots are from pretty far away and stuff, and the composition is pretty basic, but I'm going to have to, or like I want to change all that. And what inspired me to um, make, or like try to make a better fight scene was watching Arcane and seeing the fight scenes there. They're like just really amazing and very inspiring. Oh, so, and I learned from watching Arcane that, you know, with fight scenes, close-ups, occasional close-ups and such are quite important and make it just feel and look much better. So that's what I'll try to do when I go over this whole thing. And I've decided that I'll have probably have Dexter and Anton there in the background, but kind of blurred out. You know, I'm not going to start doing anything with Dexter and Anton in the background. Like, not going to add them right now, because for all intents and purposes they're part of the background in this sequence. So then's the next like important frame. Like, I'm going to do like the roughs, or like the most, at this point I'll just make all the most important frames, like the one where Skulduggery is just staring forward, then another where his head is down because he's nodding, then back up Saracen looking at the church, then Saracen turning back, shaking his head, Skulduggery stepping forward, and then turning backwards. Maybe I'll do like a camera movement here, where... No, actually, it's better to not do the or like, I won't add the camera movement yet, because that will probably be done in like editing to save me from having to try to animate a camera move, or like, animating a camera is not that hard, but OpenToonz does make it quite difficult, at least for me, and often the program crashes when I try that. So I'll probably just do it with Sony Vegas afterwards. It's much easier. Right, so now we're doing a frame where Saracen is kind of turning, like he turns a bit to the towards the church to look what's going on in there, or like over there. Because he eats a lot of carrots. Remember to eat lots of carrot. No, wait, wasn't that disproved? Like, I think it was disproved that carrots make you somehow have magical seeing in the dark, or like better seeing in the dark abilities. Like, I think it was like some of the stuff in carrots does is like good for your eyes, but it's not going to like make you have superhuman abilities or anything. So maybe, you know. But imagine if it did. Like, imagine if just by eating a carrot you could just see in the dark really well. That's not what's going on here, but I'd like to do that. I don't really like. I don't spend much time in the dark though, so I'm not sure I would have any use for it, but it could be cool. Could be nice. Like, it would be a useful tool, I think. Alright, another extreme frame done. The extreme frame, which means that it's, well, not, wait, no, they're not extreme frames, they're keyframes, yeah. So like the most important ones. Yeah, it's, oh, of course, too fast right now. But, you know. And once the keyframes are done, then it's time for the in-between frames. And, you know, so on and so forth. I think animating is really fun. Like specifically that stage where the in-between frames are coming along and you're just starting to see what the animation will look like when it's finished. That's really cool, I think. I love seeing, I just really love animating. When I'm older, I want to make it my career. I want to work in animation. I actually already have a school in mind where I'd like to go study animation. I've had it in mind for a year now. And the best part is that I won't be able to apply there. I'm not done with senior or upper secondary school yet. I still have 2 years to go because I'm doing it in 4 years, so I'm halfway through now. So I won't be applying for the school until 2 years from now, but I've already had the school in mind for well over a year, and it's just, I've always had a tendency to just plan forward, or kind of have my whole life planned out, and then when something happens that I wasn't preparing for, it often feels very scary for me. Actually, I'm going to do a little change to the first, the original storyboard. I'm going to have Skulduggery turn around at this point to face Saracen, because how else would he see that he's shaking his head? So yeah, Skulduggery kind of just, maybe he just turns his head. Yeah, that's probably for the better. And he can't turn it 180 angles, so I'll have the rest of his body turn around a bit too. Right, time for another skull reference picture. Yippee! I'll probably try to make the rest of these keyframes and then I'll probably log out for the night. Now we'll have the head shaking frames, both of them. right, and then the second head shaking frame. Sorry I'm so quiet now. I'm very tired. It's almost 10 p.m. for me. For some reason this frame just looks really funny to me. I cannot explain it. For some reason it just... yeah. I can reuse this one here. And then the last or second to last keyframe where Skulduggery is kind of turned around and he's looking towards the, like, in the complete opposite direction, because I don't know, he senses the zombies or something. Maybe he's just heard something, I don't know. Anyways, he's the first to become aware of the presence of the zombies. Okay, so I can probably make these last 2 frames in the remaining 6 minutes before it is 9 p.m. for... No, not 9 p.m. It's already well past 9 p.m. 10 p.m. for me. And then I'll end the stream because it is getting late and I'm getting tired. Right, so this is the last keyframe I'll be doing. I didn't have time to make any of the in-between frames today, but that's okay. I got this done, which is good. All right. And with that, we've reached the conclusion of the stream. We have made, or like I've drawn all of the keyframes for this specific movement. So, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll keep posting updates and stuff about Across a Dark Plane. And yeah, thank you all, and good night or day or morning or whatever time it is for you all.